Hello and welcome to The Wilderness of Creativity, a platform for creatives and aspiring entrepreneurs to share their stories of survival. I'm your host, Lucy, and I'm so excited to share this creative journey with you. Working full-time and raising a small human has caused me to lose track and wander off-piste on several occasions, but I followed the signs and here we are, surviving the wild and feeling more connected and inspired than ever before. Whether you're a seasoned adventurer or just starting out, I'm here to cheer you on as you navigate this journey. Together, we will uncover practical tips and strategies for cultivating creativity, explore different ways of prioritising our creative energy when there are people to please and deadlines to meet. And we'll also discuss how we can foster a mindset that inspires connection, innovation and play in our daily lives. Tune in every month to hear how my guests find focus in a world that never stops buzzing and discover what it really means to take the road less travelled. Subscribe now to listen to The Wilderness of Creativity and remember to like, share and leave a review to show your support. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, so come and join in with our conversations. And that's it. Welcome to your next adventure.
I've got those cards.
Do you use them?
Yeah, do you know what? I get them out every so often. Sometimes I just have like a flick through and I'm like, yeah, that's the one for today.
Today I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce you to burlesque performer Becky Allison, also known as Ruby Tulip. In this episode, we're going to dive deep into the essence of female empowerment and explore the joy of creativity in dance. We also touch upon her featured role in the Burlesque UK documentary, which had its first festival showing in September 2023 at the Saturn Returns Film Festival and was officially selected for the Stockholm City Film Festival. Right, let's get on with the episode.
Okay, so the card that's come up for you is setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible.
Yes, I like that. Setting goals for yourself. Sometimes I think like you get so not stuck in a rut, but essentially sometimes we do. And sometimes you just need to pull yourself out of it and think, let's do something. I don't know, whether it's looking for a new job, whether it's finding a new hobby. You have to set these things for yourself. I'm going to go do this.
Yeah, that's a really good card to come up for you, isn't it?
I like that. Because that kind of like resonates with my normal life. And then obviously like it does work with burlesque as well.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
Like with my normal life, obviously like setting goals for myself, like work-wise, because obviously I had a massive change from what I was doing before to what I'm doing now. And that was a big thing for me. So I was like, I'm going to go do this. And then burlesque as well, like thinking at the minute, I'm trying to get my fitness levels up to do the advanced classes with burlesque size. All the girls like that do it, they're like, why are you not doing advanced? And I always say like, I'm not there yet. Like, I see what they do and I feel like I'm not quite ready to do those moves and to like have that much energy. So I'm building my way up to it. So I've got that goal. And then at some point I'm going to be waltzing into that advanced class. Here I am. I'm finally here.
And I think, there's something in there as well, Becky. Shall I call you Ruby or Becky?
Whichever. I answer to either.
Like, where do you draw the line between Ruby and Becky?
The line between Becky and Ruby is very blurred these days. I always used to say that Ruby was the other part of me that I didn't always let out. But now as I've got older, like in my mid-30s,
Yeah.
I'm like, who am I more like? Am I more Ruby or am I still Becky? And I think I am just an absolute blur of the two. I've still got like my professional, like sweet, sometimes insecure side of Becky, which I was always quite insecure when I was younger. But then I've got the Ruby side that is just like, yes.
I love that.
So I think, some people, there can be a definite stage and muggle life. I'm just part of both. I'm just a mix of the two these days, and I think that's just a standard for my life now.
That kind of leads me on to thinking about this idea of identity and, those really important questions about what it means to be unapologetically you, however and whatever that looks like and feels like.
Exactly. Sorry, my cat was trying to climb on my bookshelf. Yeah, and do you know what? I always say to people now, like when they meet me, you take me as you find me. Sometimes I'll say stuff that's a double entendre, and then other times I say something that's really like, I don't know, comforting, and I'm there for people when they're having a hard time.
You can be everything and anything.
Yeah.
I think that's really at the heart of it, isn't it?
Yeah. What was it I said to someone the other day? I think it was something along the lines of like, you're the master of your own universe. It's your life. You do what you need to do. Be who you need to be. Like, as long as you're not hurting anyone along the way, essentially. Be yourself. Go for it. Do that thing. Say that weird thing. Go do that hobby.
I know, it's so true, isn't it? I mean, thinking about where this podcast is coming from and where it's going, and I remember the first conversation I had with Stacey, this idea of, well, why do I deserve this space to talk about creativity? And she said, well, why not you?
Yeah.
And I think that feeds into what you're saying. It's like, why can't you try that hobby, say that thing, be with that person, explore identity? I mean, it's just, you've got to go for it.
Yeah, you'd rather have, oh God, what is my status on WhatsApp? Rather an oops than a what if.
Oh, I love that. So how did you get into burlesque to begin with?
I've always had like a love for the pin-up era. And then I used to do, before I moved to the East Mids, I used to do pole dancing. And at the studio that I was at one point, one of the instructor's friends she was a dancer. She performed in like various like stage productions and stuff. And she did a bit of burlesque. So just as a little trial run, they did like a 6-week, like, 1 hour a week, like course. And I went to it and I was like, oh my God, I love this. It was just some simple moves. It was a lot of like posing. We had to come up with our names, which is where Ruby Tulip was born. And then I did that and I loved it and it never really left me. And then when I moved to the East Mids, I saw, I'm pretty sure it was Bella Lou, Amy, that runs Burlesque UK. Pretty sure I saw her with some of the merchandise on and I was like, I've heard about this class. It's down the road from where I live. I'm going to go eventually. And then I contacted Amy. It was roughly around this time, whatever year it was, I think it was 2019. They were prepping for that year's show. So they weren't taking on any new people. Because at that point, they didn't have the beginners classes, which is what they do because it's grown. So there wasn't a space for me until after the show because they were concentrating on the charity show. And then it was like end of October, November 2019, I went to my first class with Bella Lou at Burlesque Size. And I was like, oh, I felt like I was coming home a little bit. Like I was like, this is somewhere I really want to be. And it's just grown from there. I've done 3 charity shows now.
Yeah.
Soon we're prepping for my 4th one at the minute. And in my 2nd show, I was very honoured for Amy to give me a slot to be a soloist. So I'd only done 1 show.
Amazing.
I'd never been a dancer as such when I was a kid. And it's just grown from there. Like, I love it. I still love going. I always joke like to other people, I revolve my part of my life around going to my classes with Burlesque Size.
Yeah, you kind of look at your diary and think, no, I can't go then because I've got to go to Burlesque Size.
Yeah. I was planning a cinema date with some friends from work and I was like, we can't go on these days during the week because I've got rehearsals. And they were like, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's okay.
That's the thing, isn't it? You're prioritizing yourself, you're prioritizing your hobby, that moment to be creative. And I think life can get very busy, and sometimes we lose that kind of drive to put ourselves forward. Just backing up a little bit, where did Ruby Tulip, where did that name come from?
It's simply Ruby is from the red, because I'm a redhead. It's like my signature colour. I wear a lot of red clothing. It's very much me. So Ruby came from that. And then the tulip part, it's my favourite flower. I've always loved it. And I was like, oh, do you know what? Ruby Tulip sounds like a really cool name.
It's a great name.
Yeah, I love it. And I will never change it. You know, some people change up their names, or, you know, if they've picked something years ago and they've maybe thought, oh, maybe that's a little bit silly and they want to change it. But I will never change.
It's playful, it's classic, it's sophisticated.
Yeah, I think so. I think like sometimes when I'm performing in the shows that Bella Lou puts on, sometimes there's a bit of vulnerability in there. And then also through part of it, it's that really confident part. And you're like, yes. And like you can see it on my face when I've seen pictures and videos back. There's like some bits where there's just like a little twinkle in my eye, possibly, or like a little smile on my face. And you can there's different sides, and they come out when you perform. And I think that's probably the same for most of the girls, or all of them.
How many performers do you kind of work with then when you're working towards a performance?
So with Burlesque oh gosh, it's all of the intermediate and advanced girls. So Burlesque UK has it's over 100 members now.
Okay.
So not everyone does the show. Beginners don't do it. It's just the intermediate and advanced. There's quite a lot of us. There's probably like 70 of us doing the charity show, maybe more than that. I'd have to
Really?
double check the numbers, to be fair.
That's
And
incredible.
yeah, so there's group dances, there's soloists. So yeah, there's quite a lot of it, and it's grown from Amy putting on the first show to what it is now. Yeah, there's a lot of us.
Talk to me about what it feels like when you're waiting in the wings to go out onto that stage, knowing what you're going to be doing, knowing who might be out there. What does that feel like?
My first show, it was all nervous energy, but then excitement as well. The couple of shows I've done since that first one, it's more excitement now. So you kind of like just standing backstage, and I sometimes kind of like I bounce on the spot a little bit because I'm like pumping myself up, I'm ready to go. And then like sometimes we're peeking through the curtains looking at the people that are on before us and stuff like that. So we're all like, ooh. Yeah, so it's more like a nervous, excited energy now, but there was more nerves, like, oh my God, what if I mess up type for a start. And that's still there. I do sometimes worry that I am going to miss a step, or my costume's not going to come off. And
Yeah.
I did a performance where I couldn't get my bra off the other year. And do you know what? I think in my first show, I'd been absolutely gutted and I'd have felt awful about it. But then when I couldn't get it off, I was like, oh, do you know what? It is what it is. I carried on and I just went for it still.
I played a role in Guys and Dolls where I had to take off my costume that revealed kind of like a sparkly sort of leotard underneath.
Nice.
It was, oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I wasn't even taking any of my clothes off. Like I was wearing a sparkly leotard. But the nerves and that sense of oh my gosh, everyone's going to be watching me. What are they going to think? What what am I going to do if I can't get my gloves off, or if I can't get my dress off, because it was velcroed down the side and I had to kind of sort of throw it off. I suppose in that moment when something isn't going your way, you're having to improvise, aren't you? And you're having to kind of work your way through that moment whilst in front of people and performing. I mean, that is a skill, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to just roll with it. The instructors at Burlesque Size, they will always say to you, like, if you can't get part of the costume off, leave it, carry on and just keep going. Or I think I was doing a routine and we had like a skirt peel, so we had to like pull the skirt down our legs, but mine got caught around my foot.
Yeah.
So when I was dancing, I left it around my foot, and then there was an opportunity where I could just quickly like kick it off.
Yeah.
You see it like flash across, but like I just quickly did it, and it was I just went with it.
You know, when I've been dancing and, you know, things haven't worked, you know, I've come in from the wrong entrance, or the costume does, you know, something catches. I mean, we see it on Strictly Come Dancing, don't we, where costumes get stuck and, you know, or you get attached to your partner and you think, oh my gosh, how am I going to now get out of this bit of choreography whilst attached to my partner? But I'm wondering how that creative problem solving then translates into difficult situations in your normal life. You know, what have you learned from burlesque and applied to really tricky situations, changes that are happening in your life?
Because I have been through some difficult situations, and it kind of just teaches me to roll with it, but still be true to what you're doing. You power through, and you just believe that you're doing it for a reason. And you just kind of go with it.
There's like a deep trust in
Yes.
yourself, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to trust, like, I'm going to do it because I know the end result is where you want to be.
Yeah. What's your favourite costume to wear? What's your favourite sort of genre of music to perform to?
I am a big rock girl. I love rock music. So anytime the instructors bring out a rock song or something with a bit of something to it, I'm there 100%. I'm there like, yes, this is great. I actually chose an AC/DC song for my solo. It was You Shook Me All Night Long.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great song to perform to. And I kind of took, for my costume inspiration for that routine that I did, I took a costume from Sons of Anarchy, like TV show. So I had like a black leather cut on. I had like some like black tiny like essentially like booty shorts,
Yeah.
fishnets. You know, I had like patches put on my cut and stuff. And that I loved my solo outfit. It was a bit of me. I also loved the one of the costumes that was a bit more showgirly for a song, Jessie J, Mama Knows Best. And that was from last year. And we had like a feather bustle. So it was very showgirly. We had a feather headband. And I loved that as well, like a corset. I love stuff like that. Yeah, that was a really nice outfit to wear as well.
Do you have those costumes made for you, or are you kind of responsible for sourcing the costumes for your shows?
We get the costume breakdown from the instructors, and then there's some bits that we have to have identical. So links are sent out for various places. And then there's some bits that you're given like a rough, like you need a pink bra or you need black high-waisted knickers or a thong. So then you just get whichever you want that suits you and what you feel comfortable in that sense. So so we have a breakdown of what we need and then we go get them ourselves. So it can be quite expensive, but 100% worth it.
If someone was listening to this episode and they were maybe intrigued to try burlesque, what would you say are the kind of like the key takeaways from doing something like this?
If there's something there that you think, I kind of want to give that a go with the feeling, whatever it is that's inside you, whether it's like, oh, that looks like a good place to kind of just like let go and bring out my inner sexiness, the sultriness. And I think if it's a perfect place to grow confidence, body confidence, kind of get to know yourself and that other side of you that you may keep hidden. We have women, ages of 18 is the youngest, and we have someone in their 70s that does it. We've got women of all shapes and sizes, and it's amazing to watch. So some people would probably think, oh no, maybe I'm not comfortable, I'm feeling a bit bigger than what I was, or the opposite end, maybe someone's thinking, God, I've not got much in the boob department. But we all come together and we're all so different, and it just makes one amazing place to go. I love it.
And it is that idea of, empowering each other. Like there's no competition between you. You are literally standing shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, that's it. And, we help big ourselves up. I remember, I was thinking about this earlier, actually. My first class that I did, where I had to take my bra off for the first time, and it was just in the studio, doing one of the classes, and some of the girls that have been doing it for longer, they was like, are you going to do it? And I was like, I don't know. And then we was doing like the warm-ups, and we was doing like a little walk and a technique and stuff, and we do a few, and the last bit was the bra peel, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I was all ready to go. I had tassels on underneath, and then I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And when I did the technique and turned around and threw the bra, the amount of, I could see all the girls and they were screaming. They were like, yeah, woo. And they were just so, they were so excited for each of us, the newbies that was doing it. And then I've done that for other newbies that have come along. Everyone's just so supportive of each other and there for each other. And it's nice to be around. I like that.
Yeah, I love that energy. I mean, I guess through something like this, we are sort of tapping into perhaps collective trauma, healing that together. And it's a space where we feel safe. And I think, that is so important,
Yeah, it is.
And to be cheered on by, your sisters.
Yeah.
There's a beauty in that, isn't there?
Each of us have got a different story. And like you say, for so long, we've been told in the past to cover up, don't show too much of yourself, don't be too expressive. And that's not for me. If you want to come to a burlesque class and whip your bra off, get your boobs out, shake your bum, come do it. Don't let anybody else tell you that you shouldn't be doing these things, because they're not living your life. They're not in your shoes. And if someone's gotten into your head, push them out. You've got to do something for yourself. And if this is what you want to do, go do it if it's going to make you happy.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions around burlesque, isn't there?
There is. During filming for the 2022 show, it was the year that I did my solo, we actually had a documentary crew follow us throughout the process, and it was Dancing Dirty or Female Empowerment. So we had people commenting that didn't agree with it, and then we had us guys that do. People are always going to have their opinions on it, and that's fine. As an individual, you are entitled to your own thoughts, feelings, opinions, but the other people that are opposite to you also have that same right.
I think it's so important to lean into those difficult discussions, because ultimately the bottom line is that we need to kind of try and understand somebody else's story. You can learn something, you can grow out of that conversation. Where can people find the documentary?
So I think there's talks of where it's going to be. It was by Jay Ostwick. And then Bella Lou, Amy, she helped produce it as well. So it was done together. And yeah, it was amazing. We had a premiere and we watched it, and it was amazing. I think the Facebook page and the Instagram page for it is still up. So there's little clips and trailers and stuff that people can watch on there. It was beautifully done, beautifully done. There was interviews with some of the girls and their stories, their personal growth of why they do it. Like, because there's so many of us, you don't necessarily know the reason why they're doing it or what they've been through in the past. And it was amazing to be part of something like that.
How has your family or your friends or your work colleagues, how have they reacted?
I have never had a negative comment from anyone in my life
Wow.
about it. As soon as I said I was going to go do this thing, everyone was like, "Ooh, ooh, okay." I was like, and they were like, "Yeah, go on then." Even my dad, like he's never seen me perform, which is fair enough. Like it's not something that he wants to attend. That's fine. I'm his little girl. That's absolutely fine. But he's still like, yeah, do you know what? She goes and does this thing and she's happy. As long as she's happy, I'm not bothered. My mum loves it. My friends that they're all so supportive and they love it. When I went to the job that I'm at now, and it slowly came out that I do burlesque, everyone's like, that's amazing, that's so cool. And my work colleagues have been to last year's show and they're coming to this year's show. And then my close friends and my mum comes, like my mum's obviously my biggest supporter. And like one of my friends, she commented after last year's show, she said, every time I watch you, you get more and more confident. You can just see it. And they just love watching me. And I've never had a negative, like, oh, what are you doing that for? Never. I've got a really great like support network around me.
To know that when you are exploring a creative venture, doing something out of your comfort zone, when you're doing something that may be a little bit risque, to have people in your corner is priceless, isn't it? So, and that makes you want to do it even more in some ways, because you know that whatever happens, not only do you trust yourself, but you also trust the people in your life.
I just have so many encouraging people that are really happy for me and they're like, yeah, go on, go do it.
Yeah, that's great. And you've mentioned you're rehearsing for a show at the moment. What's next in the pipeline for Ruby Tulip?
So we're doing the annual Burlesqueage UK charity show in October. So it's the 4th and the 5th. So we do 2 nights. And yeah, we're just learning. We've learned all the routines in the classes so far, like the first part of the year. Then we've been popped into different routines. So I've got 2 from my Monday class and 2 from my Thursday class that I'll be doing group performances this year. So we're just doing rehearsals. We're fine tuning everything. We're getting our spatial. We've been told where we're going to be in the lineup. So we're just going through all that at the moment, doing costumes. There's messages every day of and Instagram posts of the girls like gemming their costumes. It's show prep. It's happening. So that's what we're doing at the moment. That's what I'm doing. And then, like I say, I'm trying to get my fitness levels up because I do want to take part in the advanced classes with Burlesqueage. So at some point, that is a goal that I have. Like I want to go do those classes, and that's what I'm working towards, just to try be fit enough to keep up with them, to feel like I belong in that class. Like, yep, she can do these moves. So that's what I'm working towards currently.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, it's so important, isn't it? Like coming back to the card, having that goal, something to work towards. We've got to keep pushing on, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where can people find information about the burlesque classes that you go to and about the shows? Because it's for a charity, isn't it? What charity do you support?
Amy picks a different one every year. So this year it is the charity called Oddballs. It's for testicular cancer. Because in the show this year, we actually have a troupe of male dancers. We've got some of the partners of the Burlesqueage UK squad. Some of their partners are doing a little performance that Bella Lou's choreographed.
Is it full Monty?
Yes, kind of, not quite the full, but they're doing their part, and was allowed to have a little sneaky peek of their routine, and they're going to smash it. They are going to smash it.
How many men are in it?
8 of them, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, there's they're going to smash it. There might be more, but yeah, there's
So
a
brave.
few of them. There's a good handful of them. So yes, obviously that coincides with choosing Oddballs as a charity with bringing the guys in, and we also do a yearly calendar as well for different charities again. So,
I mean, this is it, isn't it? It's not just about burlesque.
No.
You're raising money. You're doing your bit for local communities, you know, and so the values are very strong and aligned as well, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, raising money for charities that are particularly close to us as well. Really, it really hits home. When we were doing a show a couple of years ago, one of our ladies, she had breast cancer and she had to have one of her breasts removed. So the calendar that year was for breast cancer awareness. At the show that year, because she hasn't had her reconstructive surgery yet, so she's still only got one breast. And that year, she did her performance for, she was in a group routine and it was Another One Bites the Dust. And she didn't know whether she was going to take her bra off, and she did. And I feel like teary thinking about it, actually. She took her bra off and it was amazing. Like, we was crying backstage. People were crying in the audience. The girls were just like, you know, one of the girls like grabbed her arms and she pushed her at the front, and like she was just there, like, yes, I've done this. And that was amazing. And it was a big thing. Like, the people in the audience that didn't know her, there was like, oh my God, like she was there. She just did that thing.
Yeah.
And everyone was so in awe of her that year. It was incredible to watch.
To embrace that part of yourself, that journey, and just the acceptance.
Yeah. Because she didn't know whether she was going to do it or not. And she did, because we was like, you do you. If you want to do it, if you feel comfortable, do it. And she didn't know. And then when she did, it was amazing. Oh.
Oof. This has been so lovely, just chatting to you. Have you enjoyed it?
I love talking about this. I could talk about burlesque all the time.
Well, yeah, because it's your passion, isn't it? And, you know, it clearly brings so much to your life. And I think this is what the platform is all about. It's about celebrating all things creative, no matter in what guise it kind of presents itself. It's the diversity of creativity. And obviously, I'm trying to answer the question of, is creativity a luxury or is it a necessity?
It's a necessity for me. It's a necessity because it's an outlet, and it allows me to be the other part of me that is Ruby, not just Becky. So I think if I didn't have burlesque in my life, I'd feel quite sad, actually. You know, if I wasn't attached to it in some way, shape or form, I feel like I'd probably be missing a part of myself now, because I've grown into this person who I'm still very much Becky, the person who you met a couple of years ago, but I'm Ruby as well. That I've got that. Yeah, I'm just blended together, and I need that side of my life. I'd feel very sad without it.
That's beautiful. It's longer than a couple of years as well, Becky. It's more like 8 years.
Is it really? Oh my God. It actually is, now that I think about it.
It's like 8 years now that I've known you. It's crazy.
That's
do you want to do the quick, you've got this card. Right, okay. Give him a good shuffle. And then I'll
give him a good shuffle.
And then I'll say,
ready?
Yeah, stop.
Ooh. You are entirely up to you.
Oh, Well then, that's just perfect, isn't it?
That's just spot on.
You are entirely up to you. Yeah, say those things, be that person, take up that space.
You do you.
Hello, Lucy here. I'd love for you to help spread the word. There are several ways that you can do this. One, you can subscribe to the podcast on your favourite platform, which will ensure that you never miss an episode. Two, you could share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues who might be inspired by the stories that we're sharing. Three, your reviews and ratings are incredibly important. They help new listeners discover the podcast and they give me valuable feedback on how I can improve. So, please take a moment to leave a review. Your support is what makes this possible. I'm on a mission to inspire, motivate and empower fellow creatives to take the road less travelled, and I am so grateful to have you along on this journey with me. Until next time, stay wild.